Hey, what's up, Reefer? Oh my lord. Anyways, you're not subscribed to this channel to watch my hair. What you want to see is this, right? One forever curse of a reef aquarium hobbyist is that whenever the things are going smooth, you always stick your hand in a tank to mix things up a little bit to see if you can improve it. But in the process, things usually gets a little bit worse, or a lot worse. What are we doing today? I'm gonna rescape this tank a little bit, at least try my best to. In the previous video, I had a discussion with a fine gentleman about the aesthetic of this tank. How it's kind of like cluttered and it doesn't quite live up to the cube tank. And I agree, 100% agree. The cube tank was fantastic, loved the tank, loved the drop-off tank, but I always have issue with how to really scape this. I'm just not that great when scaping a long tank like this versus like a cube or something a little bit taller. So I started taking a good look. We had discussion about it and he commented on the stuff back there and the stuff back there. The left side of the tank has always just been kind of like a dumping ground on things that I don't know where to put. Shove it to the left side. The right side, I feel a lot better about, although the torch, I may address it down the road. I feel like the torch section could be a little bit stronger. If I were to really have it my way, what I would do is completely remove all those things in the back, remove the torch garden, move the Goniporas to the back, and then plant something really bright in the front, and I will push the clamp further back. But of course, as a greedy reefer that I am, I cannot make myself part with all these different corals. But we have to make some sacrifices, and I think the discussion with the viewer in the previous video is a great start, and he pointed out exactly what I want to focus on, the left side. It's strange because I haven't pulled them out in so long. I used to pull them out almost every week to dip for the philia eating flatworms, but once we eat the flatworms, I was just not touch them at all, and I've just kind of left them alone to grow. I'm curious how big it is now. Oh, they have grown. The branches are definitely way bigger than before. Here we go, that's one. Okay, I just want to give you a quick look. That was with that one piece out. So I remember there's like 2 more big chunks, and that should address most of the hammer in that little corner. Oh, it's a small piece. This is the big one. Unfortunately, it's mostly pink or tan, so it's not like a beautiful color or anything like that, but it is growing well. All right, look at this. My slight worry is that you see that that's a big chunk of live rock, or maybe 2 pieces of live rock down there. That's some of the biological filtration for this tank. So if I rip those out, it's gonna cause some instability. But I think the tank should be able to absorb that, I think. Or I'll just move at least one of those chunks into the sump, and we'll go from there.
Moments later.
Alright, it's kind of messy, but this is what the mangrove tank looks like. Pretty bland, not much color. So I think some frog spawn and hammer down here will be fantastic. It's pretty much dominated by this gold torch that has been doing fantastically well in this tank. It loves this tank for whatever reason. So to the point where it's covering the back. Did you know I even have like a big letter in the back? Can't really see it. But we're gonna balance things out a little bit with some frog spawn. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes because, dude, I'm not sure if all these will be able to fit. I don't know. Only one way to find out. Let's go.
Did was take the brain circuits from your dead body. We stored them in electrochemical batteries until we had a chance to rebuild the cities we begin our quest.
You think I believe it? A fantastic tale like that?
I imagine you find it in
3 weeks later.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. For the last week or so, I felt like I almost died. I feel like I just started crawling out of the coffin, and I have to make this update because it has been a while since I've even looked at my tank. I fed my fish maybe like 3 or 4 days ago. I caught the flu. I got it bad, and the only cure is more reef tank. Let's go. You knew that was coming. Oh, Kowloon, did you miss me? This dog was impressive because hour for hour, for every hour I spent in bed, he matched me. Whenever I go in bed to sleep, he's right next to me. Oh, maybe a little bit more. All right, here we go. We can do this. So it has been 2.5, almost 3 weeks now since I've done the cleanup. As you can see on the left-hand side, all the frog spawn and hammer has been cleared out. They now all, well, most of them resides in the mangrove tank. What ended up happening is that I push all the Goniporus to the back corner. At some point, I probably need to rehome the pink one because they're both just too big. I cannot keep both. And I kind of prefer the red's coloration. So I think at some point I will be looking for a new home for the pink one. And you see the clam got moved all the way up, and it's the mantle extension, it got even crazier. Look at this. I think it loves this space. Or maybe just trying to get away from the red Goni so that it's not stinging it. I had to like keep scooting it forward and pushing it back a little bit until there's kind of like a happy medium where the manta is no longer being touched constantly and it seems to always be extended. So I think we're okay for now for a little bit. So that's the situation here. And on top, you see there's a clear area. That's the area where I try to start cleaning out the back, thinking that, you know what, maybe I can just scrape off all the Caroline algae and that will just show the depth of the tank, right? Because if you look back here, the foreground is the SPS garden. But what I realized is that the aquarium actually glued the black acrylic background inside the tank versus on the outside. So what I'm scraping against is actually acrylic, which is softer than glass, and I was using a razor blade. So what ended up happening is that I started leaving a little bit of micro scratches, and those micro scratches, algae is going to grow in it, Caroline algae is going to grow in it. It's never going to be pristine green. And it's kind of like a pain in the butt to scrape against the acrylic as well because your blade will also get caught. So it's not like glass where Caroline algae, if you give it enough grease, elbow grease, you can just slide right across and Caroline algae comes off. It's not like that. So it's kind of futile and I just kind of gave up. I'm like, all right, you know what, just let it be. Either Caroline's gonna overgrow it or something is gonna grow over it. For example, like my back wall back there, maybe some cloves or maybe some green star polyp will grow in the back, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But for the top part for now, we have the willows. We have the 2 Bahama Llamas whipping willow, and also we have the Rat Frogs Japanese green whipping willow right there. So those are getting used to area, and I'm sure the tentacles are going to be once again be extra long. And there's nothing touching them anymore, so they have the whole area to expand. So that's the situation on the left side of the tank during the cleanup. And I also use this opportunity to really clear out the bottom as well. Because now that with the Gonis gone, this area is open for business. And first thing to target is that it's kind of bare here, so I moved some of the hammers that I really care about down to this area. And in terms of those hammer, those are the ACI King Hammer, that's this guy, and also the ACI Princess Hammer. These look fantastic. This one looks almost like a hologram. I think certain vendor may have used that name, hologram, but from ACI it's called a Princess Hammer. This is a King. These two are my favorite morph. I do also have the Black Knight, or is it Knight of Dark? No, Prince of Darkness Hammer. Those look kind of ho-hum in my tank. It looks kind of just purplish tan, not awesome, even under acrylic blue. So I just kind of put it in the mangrove tank too, and we can take a look in the future. Now here we have the rainbow chalice I got from Lynn a while back, and there's the yellow tan. Looking skinny, boy. Are you okay? My goodness. Yeah, I gotta put some Lori in. Normally he is much chubby over belly. What's going on? And also over here you see the sunburst anemone. I'm really happy that it stayed on this rock. This rock was over here before in the beginning of the video. I moved it to here thinking it can be kind of like a centerpiece to anchor this side of the tank down. And thankfully it stayed. Color improved, I think. Sort of. It's definitely larger, much healthier now. But I feel like the color is not as intense, probably because the tissue is more stretched out. So it makes sense. But the flame tips are there. The color is still really vibrant. So this is excellent. And that is a frag of the Japanese Zephyrs that I got, and it is doing actually really well. The model colony is actually in the back. And also recently cut a frag too. Oh, the model colony is being attacked by the elegance. If you do not know, I moved the elegance all the way to the back. You can only kind of see him like this right now. That's his view. So you see the elegance is definitely doing well. It's a little greedy with space. That's why it's kind of touching other things. So we'll address that in future. Probably just move the elegance out a little bit more and that should be it. And that's when you start discovering I actually have other corals. I actually planted some Ghanis down there a long time ago. I'm glad that it's doing well. We got some cloves, some soa starting popping out as well. I didn't know it was there. So this is good to see. And we also see the, what is that? Upside down goby. Is your buddy back there? Yup, your buddy's back there too. So I have a pair of upside down goby. The other one is back there. They're both doing well. And coming up here, we also see, since we're here, the baby clam. I never really gave them the proper exposure. They are from Clammania. They're cruciate clams that they grew out themselves, and they've been in this tank for almost a year at this point, and they have just done fantastic. They have grown so much that they started overlapping each other, and at some point I probably need to address that. This chunk right here used to go on, you see that bare spot right there? That's where that used to go. We have 24K Lepto. This used to be one of my favorite weird coral because the color is just solid gold. The color does not change and it's fantastic. At some point it died to just that little nub right here and then it just grew back. It's in a constant mortal combat with that chalice right there. You see the gray, red, funky color. I think look, the gray is more green now, which is interesting. This is really nice chalice as well. I got that from Danny from Long Island, New York. And these two guys have just on and off kept battling. One side will win and die back, and then the other side, etc. They get switching places. But they both just done fantastic. For now, they'll sit right here because honestly, I don't know where else to put them, and I really don't want to let them go. I really love these two corals, so they sit here right now. So aside from these, there are a lot of random corals that I absolutely did not touch on. Some of them I've never even talked about on this channel before. At some point, I really need to go through all of them. Hey, Roland's damsels. And look at that, that coral's doing well. But yeah, there's just a lot of corals I really want to go into, but have not had a chance yet. I'll eventually get there. But for now, just know that the tank is doing well. Coming down, it looks like the black molly count is sadly down to 3. I was down to 4, but it's down to 3 now. They seem happy though. So, oh no, it's 4, yeah. Whoa, what happened to you? Look at this guy. That, I don't know. It looks like he got some kind of damage, like a top fin. That looks kind of bad. All right, well, it's still 4. The other one showed up, so just 4 black mollies, but looking at that, man, maybe 3 soon. Yeah, that sucks. Man, I hope that's okay. But yeah, so that's that, and it looks like the SPS is starting to take off. Now for the last couple days, I did not really mess with the tank. Look at this. Eumeris, look at the growth tips started coming out. The digitata, Forest 5 digitata, look at the coloration and the growth tips. They're there. The cat paw is doing something funky. I mean, I know the skin is green. I mean, regular white light should be pink, but the polyp is not fully open. I'm not sure what's going on because this is kind of the first time looking at a tank this week. So we'll check back and see what's happening. Hopefully just temporary, something's bothering it. That's why the polyp is retracted. We'll see what's going on, but everything else looks to be chugging along and adjusting well to the change. And I know I promised to join the water change club, but honestly, since I said it, I have not done a water change yet. Life has just been insane. One quick thing before I sign off here. Somebody in comment asked how I like the 3D printed feeding portal. I think this was the Neat Aquatics feeding portal. So I installed this about 3.5, 4 years ago, almost. This is all pretty almost the same age as the tank. It was working perfectly up until I told that person that it's great, I love it. I still love it. However, I discovered that it formed a crack by the screw here. Granted, I think the reason this happened is because the netting started sagging over time because of I keep pulling things out, taking things in. pulling it out, putting things in, and also the humidity, etc. Whatever reason, netting started sagging on this the mesh top, and at some point it was low enough that this water started hitting it, started splashing it. I changed up the wave maker so the wave is not as large anymore, so it doesn't really hit the feeding port anymore, but you still see the salt creep. I think all those water splashes and whatnot caused this to crack. But again, I have this for 3.5 years, so I think this is quite decent for the price of the item. I would still recommend it, but from what I understand, they're now no longer the single shop that does it. Multiple shops do something similar in terms of a feeding portal. I just like the concept of a feeding portal. You don't have to remove the mesh top every single time you try to feed the fish, unless you have some cutout like that, right? If you don't, I think a feeding portal is still a great way to go. But yeah, if you ask about still recommend it, I totally would. But just keep it out of water, maybe. I'm not sure if that's really the reason, but I kind of feel like maybe it is because it's kind of getting wet and then getting hot, things expand, contract, etc., and then cause it to crack. So yeah, it is what it is, but it still works. Just a little bit more loose. It doesn't hold it may not hold the lid as tight, but so far so good. Whoa, look at this. I didn't even notice this. The Go Torch, I guess, started to really adjust to the new flow. And they are coming in hot. They better not touch my Kung Pao Monty cap. I think, are they touching? It's definitely stinging the green slimer. I'm not sure if it's touching the cap. Yeah, but the one at the bottom is supposed to be Sun God, not confirmed. The ones at the top are New York Knicks. And I think some sort of Indo gold is mixed in there as well. And I have what's supposed to be the Holy Grails. Yeah, also there's a big chunk of Bahama Llama's Weeping Willow. In fact, recently, Richmond Reefer actually made the drive from Richmond to where I am. That's almost like 2 hours, or 2.5 hours, to pick up a frag of this Bahama Llama. I'll get it straight one time. Bahama Llama Weeping Willow. And I really appreciate him taking time to visit. We have a really, really great chat. I learned a lot from him. So he got a frag of this as well, a frag of the, I think, New York Knicks. Really, really great guy. And he's on Instagram, I believe TikTok as well. If you guys want to go check him out. Great content. Again, really, really great guy. And also a great reefer. And it's also fantastic for me to finally meet more of the reefers, especially local reefers, in person. It's like back in the days, before the pandemics. That felt like so long ago. Time to get back to normal. This is a nice little corridor down there, right? I never really pay attention to it. There's still so much I need to learn about my reef tank. This is awesome. All right, well, maybe just because I haven't seen my reef tank in almost a week, that I'm kind of just so happy. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.